I want to talk about a recent story where a farmer took a shotgun and blew a DJI Mini 2 out of the sky. Now, I say recently, but the actual incident took place on the 17th of May 2023, which is still this year. Here's the report of the incident from Air Accidents Investigation Branch. Now, it turns out that this drone was being operated by one of the infamous frauditors who just turn up at places and annoy people until they get a reaction from them. So let me say straight away, I've got zero sympathy for this frauditor, and I wouldn't be unhappy if I see this kind of thing happening to more of them in the future. But that opens up a whole can of worms, right? Because if it's open day on attacking drones, that leaves those of us who fly and are not frauditors vulnerable to the same kind of attacks. Why is this a worry? Well, it seems like everyone is against drones and those who fly them these days. There are a few reasons for this, I think. The media. Now, the media only ever publish bad news stories about people flying in restricted zones near airports, close to other aircraft, over festivals, over beaches and where there are lots of people. And this is the main reason the public who don't fly drones are against us. There's always an insinuation of peeping Toms flying drones over beaches to look at people clad in skimpy gear and even looking in bedroom windows. These things are all grooming the public to accept this as reality. Second reason, the police take little or no action against people who harass a drone pilot in mid-flight or even attempt to bring the drone down, as in the case in Barrow-in-Furness. Following the incident, a Cumbria police spokesman said, "Police received a report at 8:38pm on May the 17th of criminal damage to the drone in Ormsgill Lane area of Barrow. Inquiries are continuing into this reported incident. Police confirmed they're still investigating the incident, but I think we all know this investigation's going nowhere." But the police will actively pursue cases against pilots who've done nothing wrong.
Okay, it comes with an arrest power.
The UK government, via the CAA, have introduced new regulations. For example, the acceptable means of compliance, which was recently added to the already over-regulated and confused regulations around drones, which says a remote pilot must be able to visually determine the aircraft's orientation at all times. The government, via the CAA, are set to bring in even more restrictive regulations that will absolutely impinge on our current freedoms to fly our drones. Why? Well, it's possible that the UK government are trying to clear the air of us hobbyists flying our drones so that they can pocket a fortune in the licences that will be issued for commercial use of drones by the delivery companies. And need I say it? We backhanders. Who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised to find out that many of the government's politicians have got stocks and shares in the companies that are soon going to be flying drones all over the country, bringing your parcels to your door. It's not surprising that some of the UK government politicians have disaster hedge funds and make massive sums of money when disasters hit the UK, or when the government hand out billions to their chums. So here we are, a bunch of old duffers just wanting to go out and fly around interesting sites, not bother anyone, but the odds are being stacked more and more against us. What are we to do? Well, there's a couple of possible solutions to being accosted. You could go out flying with someone else if it's possible. If you can't find someone to go out with, try to find a spot away from people. Don't get into an argument with a Karen who's complaining about your drone. Just land it and wait patiently, remaining quiet until Karen gets bored and then goes away, and then just recommence your flight. As a last resort, land your drone, pack up, and just move to a different spot. I know we don't want to do this, and we may have picked this spot specifically for a reason to fly there. But if it saves a fight and an argument and getting yourself all stressed out, it might be better to go and fly somewhere else and come back to that spot later on, or even in another day. Now, as to the over-expanding and confusing CAA regulations, well, that's up to you how you deal with those, but let me just remind you of what it says at GM1 Article 2, bracket 7, which is the definition of visual line of sight operation. And here it is, but I'll just read out the last sentence. Pay close attention to the first part of that last sentence. While this may potentially be aided by navigation lights, the sole of telemetry to indicate UA orientation to the RP is not considered as acceptable. Navigation lights. Strobes, in other words. Now, if you want to see how I use strobes on my mini drones, click one of these videos here.